Talk about the commodity then and crude prices. Where is oil headed finally? Miswin Mahesh, the energy analyst at Barclays, is joining us on the phone line straight from London. Thanks, Miswin, for joining us, and a very, very good afternoon to you in London. Is this coming in as a surprise, the US inventory data?
Hey, good evening. I think it has spooked the markets to an extent today because we had expected a fairly sizable build given last week's data was sort of affected by the storms in the US, etc. So it is fairly surprising, but more surprising is the move in crude. Despite that draw, we are seeing crude prices fall, which again doesn't bode well for Q3 market balances. So we have been bearish for crude in Q3, and it's sort of playing along those lines at the moment. Some of the product numbers are interesting. Refined products such as gasoline, diesel, those are looking quite interesting in the stats today.
But do you expect the oil prices to pair more downwards and incur more losses going forward in the trading session today and the few days coming to the next week, next week's inventory data till that comes? Do you see that there is going to be more correction?
We don't see that sharp of a room lower from here, though. We think prices would sort of bottom around $44, $43 a barrel. We don't really see crude going below $40 a barrel, and that's because the supply side has been adjusting. There's a bit of concern now, as you've mentioned earlier, with the Fed and with the macro details that are coming through from China, etc. That is sort of giving a bit of cautiousness, sort of lending some support on how people are looking at the state of the global economy. That said, I'd again argue that we are in a constructive market. 26th to 28th is when OPEC is meeting, and before that, we don't see that sharp of a fall because that is a price stabilizing factor in the market.
All right, and Miswin, finally, just one more thought on which are the other factors that would be ruling the oil prices going forward. Any particular challenges that you have in mind that are on your radar right now?
Yes, quite a few. So we've got the inventory data from the U.S. or rather the rig count data from the U.S. that comes out every Friday. That is spooking some of these investors at the moment, given that's been rising despite crude being below $50 a barrel. To sort of see what that effect would have on production is interesting. The other thing I'd keep on the radar is also Venezuela. The issue, the situation in Venezuela has become fairly bad over the last few weeks, and that could have an impact on crude. Other than that, I'd also say pay very close attention to Asian demand, because the IEA report yesterday painted a very bearish report, and we actually have a differing view. We actually think things are strong in Asia. I was in Asia the last few weeks, and speaking to refineries there, whether it be refineries in India, the Philippines, they're all saying things are very strong in terms of demand. So we at Barclays, we're not afraid that the prices will keep falling in Q4. We see prices rising to around $53 a barrel.
All right, but currently, Miswin, clearly the markets are on a free-for-all mode when it comes to crude prices because Brent is down over 2% and so is NYMEX.